Hello everybody. In this video we're going to be looking at our statements that get produced. Okay, so it's right here on the main menu. If you click here, I'm going to right click on this now, and here we have income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and detailed expenses. So we can actually go and look and interrogate each of these. So let me start with the income statement. Okay, and we have the income statement. This is a comparative report where we're comparing current year with prior year. Okay, this is actually the first year of inception, so we don't have the prior year in this one at the moment, but normally it will have the prior year in there. So let's go in here, click, and now here it comes up. This is our income statement that's come through. Now the beautiful thing about this is no processing. The moment you load, whether it be having run Dunkirk or you've done it by import, okay, the moment the populations are uploaded, the journals applicable to that population are also computed. So we have our journals totally made up, and then this just comes through on demand. It's just called up on demand report. Okay, and all that applies to all the other reports as well. Okay, just have a look down there. There's our PBT 2630 and our tax 675, and then we've got 1954 is what goes through to our retained income. Okay, so let's come back from here now. Okay, and now let's have a look at our quarterly report. Okay, and here's our quarterly report. You can see that I actually prefer quarterly to monthly because it's got a bigger chunk and we can actually work it, but we do have the monthly available for those who prefer that. And you can come in here and now you can scroll along and you can see that everything, you've got all your detailed numbers here. Okay, so now I'm going to come out of here. Okay, let's go to the balance sheet. Let's go to the balance sheet. Okay, one of those numbers that I showed you, so you can see all these items coming through here, non-current assets, etc., and you can see all these items. One of the items that we showed you was currently a profit, 1954, and then the dividend comes off of here. We like to put this on the balance sheet, but we could do it another way if you prefer. So you're showing that continuity of linking up the income statement to the balance sheet. Let's come back here. The balance sheet doesn't have any phasing. Now let's go to our cash flow, and we can look on cash flow. Okay, and the cash flow comes through here, and we can see all this. Now, this cash flow is possible because of the way we actually run our counterparties. We run the counterparties that each separate creditor has his own counterparty dimension. So fixed assets, for example, we keep a separate set of fixed asset creditors. We keep a separate set of sundry creditors. We keep a separate set of expense creditors. Now, by doing that, we know where the cash flows are actually going, and we can run this whole thing. So, for example, over here, we have shareholder loans. Now, we know any cash movement of shareholder loans will come down here. Okay, similarly, we have fixed assets, okay, going out there. The cash flow related to the fixed assets, we can pick that up by keeping separate counterparty dimensions, and this is what allows us to actually run that automatically. Okay, and again, we have quarterly reports here. Can show you. Okay, and we can come down to there and you can see the quarterly reports. Okay, now let's go and have a look at our expenses. So we can come down to our expenses. This is the basic expense report. Now on the expenses, we break it into two sections. We've got the expense control account, which is all your normal expenses, things like maintenance and things like traffic fines and consultancy fees and audit fees. Okay, all these items we put into one control account, and this item here balances back to that control account. But then there are all the expenses that come from other parts of the system: salaries, depreciation, amortization, etc. All of these items come through from different places. Okay, but this item here will balance back 3593. That's the total that balances back to the income statement. So I'm going to click out of here. I want to go back to the income statement, and now I can show you here 3593104. So that does in fact balance. So you've got a complete grip on what are actually showing up in your operating expenses in your income statement. So now let me come out of there. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is some tools that we have, some interrogation tools that go further than just what you've seen there. We can click on accounting and we call it journal interrogation. So that's the section we're going to. So first of all, I want to come down to journals. Now it comes up in what we call the journal categories, and this is very, very nice. You can see here that 2630, that there, the passive side is our income statement side. Then we've got our tax charge, 675. Deferred tax looks like it has nothing, but the reason for that is because we've got income items here. There's an opposite and equal effect, okay, so we're knocking them out, and that's why it appears to come to zero, but there are in fact journals in there. Okay, and then same with our VAT journals. We've got our VAT journals coming through here, and again, it seems to knock out, but in fact, that actually balances up our VAT account here. And then the dividends paid comes through here as a separate item because it's like in its category of its own. If I go over here and look at my number of journals, what I have is 109 journals. 109 journals is all I need to move the opening balances to the closing balances. And this is so powerful, so much interrogation that we can see out of this. So that's a very powerful tool. This one on the trial balance now. Now this is a very powerful trial balance. We've got opening balances, the active and passive, which is a very powerful way of doing it. Not debit and credit, but what happens, everything goes to active. What goes to passive is the cash book, the income statement, and then what we call the clearing account, which will come to zero. Okay, so this is a very powerful way of actually doing this thing, and you can see again, there's your profit before tax, there's your tax charge. It makes it so simple and so clear to follow what's going on, and that flows through to our income statement. So I'm just going to show you one item here. For example, let's go to current liabilities, and we'll come down to deferred tax liability. Okay, so we had 125. We've got journals that affect it like that, and if you sum those two across, we come to the 161. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and drill down on here, and now we can see these ones. This is the change of rate, the adjustment. This is the timing for liability and prior year liability. Okay, so that's what we've actually got coming through here, and we can see how that one was actually made up. So it's very, very powerful in being able to see exactly how everything comes together. Okay, now the last one I want to show is an income reconciliation. Okay, and what we have here, this is a reconciliation of our PBT, and this is a genuine reconciliation. We're not cheating. The first column here is going to double entries, going to our journals. The second column here is going back to the detailed source items. Okay, and we've got somewhere in the region of about 2,000 records that actually make up the transactions, and now you can see that they balance. And now what we can do is we can break this down. If I click here, I can go by account, and then if I see it by account, see each individual account, they all balance. Okay, which is very nice to know, very comforting. Now I can, now if I want to interrogate, I'm saying I'm not happy with this, what's happening, I want to see what's going on. I don't have to navigate around the menu system. I can simply go right click here, and it'll take me into my sales. And now I'm in my sales as I would have been in my transactions. And then I can click back, and then you can go somewhere else if you want. Okay, so you've got total control of being able to jump into the data, and you've got this incredible interrogation device, because now you can see exactly what's happening. We believe this has a tremendous forensic effect, because with it being so clear, it's very, very difficult now to hide. You know, when it's muddled, you can sneak a journal in anywhere that you want, but this way you're going to struggle. It's going to make it very, very difficult. So that concludes our presentation on the statements, and also on our interrogation capability. Thanks very much.